4 o'clock is the time, and let the record show that the commission is all here with the exception of Sauk Rapids and Wake Park. The additions or changes to the agenda, are there any?
No.
None? Okay, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All right, you guys are just gonna be back and forth and making motions. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Consent agenda, items 5 through 8. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
Second.
Discussion, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Consent agenda is adopted. Open forum, is there anyone here to speak in the open forum?
It's empty.
No, okay, nothing on that, okay. Seeing no one, we will close that forum and go to general business. Item number 9, consideration of 2017-18 District 742 contract.
Yeah, excuse me, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, this is our annual contract renewal with District 742. The renewal changes to the cost per fare for the year, made at 90 cents per ride. This is probably our most consistent ridership we have to date as well, or currently I should say. So basically it's just requesting approval to our motion to approve the contract.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 10, consideration of the Summertime by George trolley contract.
Yeah, once again, no major changes or adjustments in the cost. We left the hourly rate at $65 an hour this year. There's a slight adjustment in the overall amount, and I'll let Ryan explain how that came about.
In the effort of good faith with the Summertime by George, the marketing concept would be, the marketing cost for the signage would be at $100. The overall cost is $35.10 for 6 weeks, but essentially it's $65 an hour.
12 weeks.
I'm sorry, thank you, Paul, for 12 weeks. $35.10 for the 12 weeks from June 14th to the end of August, just every week that there's a Summertime by George event. But essentially it's at $65 an hour for per hour that we utilize the trolley. So the total cost is just $35 to $65 per hour times the 12 weeks comes up to $35.10.
Any confusion on that?
Motion approved.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consideration of workers' comp policy renewal.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I actually have a few things for you here today. The workers' comp policy needs to be renewed. It's in May of each year. We actually see a decrease from 17 to 18 of $25,000. That's based on our experience modification, or the experience mod that they reference. It's a 3-year look back, and so our accidents, our workers' comp claims have decreased in that time period, so we're going to see a reduction for the next year.
Good. Good.
Motion approved.
Second.
On the renewals, so this is this just the same company? Do we do an RFP on that every few years, or we just?
We've used, I had kind of listed who we had used in the past. We've been with SFM for quite some time. It's a professional service, so it's not necessary for us to, but it's one of the things on the list that I think that we need to do that for all professional services. We did go out for audit services last year, and then it's kind of been put on hold, but we will go out for, I think it's important just to go out for all services.
I think
Periodically.
every so many years. In fact, maybe we should, if this, as you're doing that, to look at some type of automatic time frame. I know in the city we do.
Yeah, every 5 years, or yeah, that's kind of what the standard for professional services
Yeah,
is.
not when they're
So-
reducing it by $25,000.
Yes, so we just smile and say thank you, right?
Well, but now might be a great time for
Yeah,
that,
it
right?
might be, yeah, there might be a
Because
reason.
the industry's gonna have a look-back period.
Right.
And I'd rather have us go out to bid
Yeah.
during a down.
When we're in a good spot.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep, yeah, it's definitely something on
Right.
the,
Yeah, I
on the list
think
to
that'd
take a look
be
at.
to our advantage and fair.
Yep, yep, fair and consistent.
All right, any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consideration of the fiscal year 2017 final program of projects.
Commissioners, this was something that was brought forward at the March, the proposed program of projects was brought forward at the March meeting. We had held that open until April 30th. We didn't get anyone from any of the communities coming forward with even a question or a comment about any of it. So we just need to move that forward with your approval so that we can begin the process for application for federal funding.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Motion to approve and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 13, resolution 2017-07, authorization of purchase of 5 Class 700 CNG fixed route vehicles.
Commissioners, I'm just gonna kind of wrap in 13, 14, and 15 all together. This is the 100% funding grant that we received from MnDOT. So the resolution is for that 100%. They'll be funding $650,000 per vehicle for 5 vehicles, fixed route CNG fleet, which is resolution 2017-07. 2017-08 is 100% grant, $300,000 for feasibility study. That's for taking a look at all of our facilities and kind of giving us where do we go from here, look at what needs to be done sometime in the future. And again, they funded that at 100% for the feasibility study up to $300,000. And then the third 2017-09 resolution is actually for operating. It's 100% grant operating an expansion of any way that we see fit. And so they had funded $226,979 for the first year. That went down a little bit. For the second year, I'll have to bring that resolution when I bring forward in 18. Their fiscal year actually runs from July 1 to June 30th. So that'll be the timing of these particular funds, which is going to be separate, obviously, than our normal contracts with MnDOT that run January to December.
Okay, is there a motion to approve? We can do all three.
All
of
three
those.
together. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion prevails. Those 3 items are approved. Item number 16, consideration of company restructuring.
Commissioners, in your packet, you have highlighted, you have the agenda memorandum highlighting the proposed reorganization structure. On page 29 of your packet, the O chart, I'm just going to give you an O chart that has the full company. Apparently, when you in the printer, we only have this part, but not just the maintenance department. Not to say that maintenance is not important, but when we printed it, we didn't shrink the size to fit everything on one page. So I just want to before I start, just show you the whole chart. What was proposed was still included in your packet. It's just the maintenance director position wasn't included, but the maintenance director department, there's no changes in that department. So I just wanted to make a note there to let you know that. In your packet, you had the proposed changes included on the old chart, but it wasn't the full old chart, with the exception of the maintenance department. But there are no changes to the maintenance department as it is currently today. So just a couple of highlights regarding the page 39, moving forward in the agenda packet. The training department currently sits in the human resource department. Training has been an important piece here in our organization, and we recognize that importance, and with the help of MnDOT recognizing that importance as well, we're looking at restructuring the training department. So with that, we're going to take the training department and move it from HR and put it in operations. As we look to implement refresher training programs, remedial training programs, enhance our customer service training program, our bloodborne pathogen training, even our new bus operator training programs for both fixed route and dollar ride. The training department would be better suited in the operations department. And with that, MnDOT recognizes the importance of the training department. So part of our $3.7 million funding opportunity included staffing positions. So one of the staffing positions will be a training manager, and this person will oversee the training department, and that training manager will also report to the chief operating officer. Planning, our ridership has been declining steadily here in the last couple months, and we recognize that need, and we want to address that. So as a result, we are going to have a planning department whose main focus will be to evaluate, improve, and enhance our service quality. So essentially, the planning department will be in operations, will sit in the operations department with a planning manager whose main focus will be to evaluate our service network, and one of the main focuses will be to improve ridership. This position will also report to the chief operating officer as well. The chief operating officer now will oversee the entire operations department and will report directly to the chief executive officer. Currently, we have 3 driver trainers. They train for us. They are full-time employees. They train part-time, and then they work part-time. So essentially, you have a union person who's a driver instructor. They might drive a route from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m., and then they'll train from 7:30 until maybe 1, 2 in the afternoon. Because of the time constraints that this has on operations, sometimes the training staff might have to drive a full day because we're short operators, or vice versa. So essentially, we're going to have a training two full-time training instructors who will report to a training manager, where now we have dedicated training staff where we could continue to implement our refresher training program once again, our remedial training program, our new operator training program, our bloodborne pathogen training program, any new hire orientation. Let's say we hire new employees. This training department will essentially be the eyes and ears of our organization when it comes to safety and training. And having 2 full-time instructors, or having a dedicated training department, we can work together to implement safety initiatives and just work on creating a safe culture here in the organization where we can continue to train and retrain our operators and our assistant staff. Also, we have a dispatch position where the dispatch position is currently performing the duties of a scheduling support specialist. So essentially, you have a dispatch function where the primary duties are filling in shifts, scheduling drivers, both fixed route and dollar ride. We want to recognize the importance of the scheduling position and compensate this position for the duties versus a dispatcher. Because essentially, we have a dispatcher performing the duties of a scheduling support analyst, and we're not compensating that position well. So these job descriptions further indicate the importance of these duties, both driver instructors and scheduling support analysts. With the help of MnDOT, with the 100% funding opportunity made available to us from MnDOT, these positions will be covered till 2020. And as a result, there will be little to no impact on our levy. So at this time, I will stop for any questions you may have. If there are no questions, then I will recommend the commission approve the recommended changes, the proposed changes.
Okay. Well, let's see, before we have discussion, is there a motion to approve changes?
Motion approved.
Second.
Moved in second. Discussion or questions for?
Are these interdependent upon each other? The separation of chief operations and planning as well as training department?
Okay, when you say interdependent, can you?
So we're talking about a lot of organizational change, in my opinion. The funding from MnDOT, would we be able to strip out just that training aspect of it and fund that training supervisor? Or
No, the funding is dependent on 2 staffing positions, which will
Okay.
be the training manager and the chief operating officer. And those
Okay.
positions will be funded until 2020. Because their fiscal year starts in January and ends in June. July. Contract July 1st and
July,
June 30th.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Hey, this is one of those things that from a maybe it's because from where the city is versus the boards and commissions, I know we've had a lot of these come to us. In fact, we're having the same discussion over at the APO right now, whether that's a board's decision or it's an administrative decision. Structure, at least from the city perspective, this would never come to our council. This would be something we do as an administrative function. I know we've had a number of these over the time. I believe that's an administrative function, and that's why we hire a director to do that. So I don't have a problem as long as, unless there are significant budgetary changes midway. If we were readjusting the budget, well then that would be something different. But when it comes to these structural things, and maybe the question I would ask is, same thing I brought up at the APO, is this under the joint powers agreement that the commission approves these things, or is there, and I know we've had some of these other structural things, but in my experience, these are normally not board decisions, they're administrative decisions, not over policy board for the most part. So that would just be my question, and maybe if we can look into that piece to see why, these are even discussions that we have when it comes to the actual structure, which I would consider administrative, not a policy piece. But any other comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Executive Director, Department updates.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Nate Ramacher. I'm here on behalf of the Metro Bus Marketing Department. To share some information about upcoming events that we will be at throughout the spring and summer. I'm going to start by introducing the marketing team. Minn Alberta Hartag, our Marketing and Communications Manager. My position is Marketing Communications Specialist. I started last fall with Metro Bus. Our newest addition is Allison Henning. She is intern for the summer, and her primary responsibility will be staffing the events that we'll be talking about here. The three of us, along with Metro Bus outreach staff, dispatchers, drivers, and members of the Rider Advisory Committee, will be staffing events throughout the late spring and summer. Allison is going to give each of you a brief overview of the events we'll be at. We select these events based on what we think will have the most impact and reach in the community given our limited resources. Our goal is to increase ridership for Metro Bus by promoting programs we offer, including You Go Free for kids, travel training for kids and adults, dial-a-ride service, College Connect, and other programs we have, and just basic. We like to promote how clean the buses are, how friendly our drivers are, these things that people maybe don't realize about our transit system compared with others that may not be as nice. Some of the main events we'll be attending that you'll see on your list there include Know Your Neighbor events, which are hosted by KNSI throughout the summer. We go like those because it reaches kids and parents, particularly about the You Go Free and some of the other programs we have available. SCSU advising and registration days, as well as other events at St. Cloud State and the Tech College, which we use to connect to college students, obviously. And also downtown art crawls, which there's 2 of them this summer, and the Benton County Fair, which is a great opportunity to reach a cross-section of the community. Hopefully we'll see some of you at those events as your time permits. Appreciate the time. You guys got any questions?
Oh, is there you've done every year, you do kind of pack the bus thing?
Stuff the bus. Well,
Stuff
fill
the
the
bus.
flyer.
Yeah.
Fill the flyer, stuff the
Is
bus.
that part of it?
We didn't have that in this summer. We found we get a lot more response in the winter time. When we did it at summertime, but George, it was mainly not a lot of drop-off donations. It was just a few of the organizations that we would connect with. But we plan to do that again in the winter time because we get the greatest result then.
Yeah, we did real well last winter. That was one of the first things I got to do after coming on board, and it was a cool event, a lot of food, lots of money raised. But yeah, what I've learned from Berta is that it's not as effective in the summer. So whatever.
Not bad, every amount counts, right?
Right.
But when we're looking
Before
at different
Christmas
events
is
and
the
how do
time to
we
hit.
connect
Yeah.
with the community and what are the goals of the events to get people interested in Metro Bus, yet still serve our community, so that food drive's a nice thing to do to help serve the community. But these events have more of a focus on trying to get people to ride the bus.
time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other updates?
I just have one quick reminder. Our bus rodeo will be held Thursday at St. Cloud State. Just a follow-up to the email that was sent. Our bus rodeo will be held this Thursday at St. Cloud State in K-Lot. So if you guys are available to stop in, cheer the Metro Bus staff on, cheer the Metro Bus employees on, you're more than welcome to attend. It starts from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay, well, that's great. Good luck.
If you want to compete, we have a,
Oh,
you have the
I've already-
CDL, so you don't.
I've already won. I've already won that private.
You already won, so that's
contest.
enough.
I think I beat you.
You beat me, actually. Yeah. So no, you can't compete this year.
Yeah, no, it was-
If you guys like to come and spectate, you guys are more than welcome to cheer the operators on.
Are you doing a public piece to that?
Well, the St. Cloud Times will
Have you
actually
done fans?
be coming to do a story, and they'll be taking pictures.
Oh, so you're gonna have some public?
Yeah, public,
Doing the
yeah.
same type of thing?
No.
Public can't drive. You have to have a CDL.
No, you mean driving. I'm sorry, I thought you meant public media coverage. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, public won't be driving. The media will be there to film the story. Thank you. Yeah, St. Cloud Times will be coming to do a story.
Okay.
Not to drive, but just to do a story.
Okay.
They had to stop it after you drove it.
Oh, yeah.
After you won, they stopped it.
Yeah. Okay. Any other
Thank you.
parts? Can I, on the media, going back just one step, do you do the parades, or do we ever like?
Don't.
Haven't done the parades right now. We kind of look at, we like to try to engage with the public as much, like face-to-face, talk to people versus just drive down the road and looking at.
I suppose you do enough of that.
Yeah.
Kind of do a parade every day.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So,
All right.
but if that's something that's important to the commission, we take that into consideration.
It doesn't stop tow trucks or semis.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, seeing none, if there's no other business, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? We are adjourned at 4:00.